So the objective of today's lecture is we will be studying OSI management model and the common management information protocol. See, we had studied various models like communication model, information model, functional model, organization model. Now, how the management related information is passed from the agent to the manager. So there is a protocol that is used. So that is the CMIP, Common Management Information Protocol. So this is, as I said yesterday also, it's a very important part from theory viewpoint. So you can expect a 10 marks question only from this today's topic. So the learning outcome is you will learn how the common management information service element, that is CMIS. See, these full forms are very important. Common management information service element is used in OSI management. Okay, so when I am using the CMIP protocol to communicate between the agent and the manager, some services I need to perform. What are those services? Till now we were discussing and or I was always stretching on the point कि हम लोग जो भी data send कर रहे हैं, remember it is all management related data. Now what are those actually management related data? Okay, to send those management related data हमने उसका coding भी सीख लिया, ASN1 syntax भी सीख लिया, उसका encoding भी सीख लिया, TLB. But what are those actually commands or the messages that is communicated between the agent and the manager? So that we are going to cover in this particular chapter. Okay, and then certain services are being performed between the agent and the manager. So what are those services which are used in OSI management? Similar kind of services we will be having in SNMP. Okay, so those services, when it was laid out, it was found out to be complex. कि अरे ये बहुत कुछ हो गया. Okay, so then what we did in SNMP, we tried to reduce this service and tried to make the model simpler. So that's why the name came SNMP, Simple Network Management Protocol. Okay, but then later on again they realized कि baba these things were missing. So what they did was they again improved those services. Okay, so then version 2 came into picture. SNMP version 1 से version 2 पे गए. Then from version 2 again certain services were included, and then currently we are into version 3. The architecture also changed altogether. So अभी हम एक management architecture पढ़ेंगे, OSI management architecture. Okay, it's not the dumbbell architecture. It is actually the architecture for the management related messages between the agent and the manager. I will again expect you to draw it, write the names, because you will definitely go wrong during the subjective exam. Objective tak to theek hai. Okay, the sentences will play a role, but when it is a subjective exam, you will definitely miss out whatever is supposed to draw. Now, why I am telling you to draw is OSI management architecture hoga. The next chapter immediately which I will start after your IA is your SNMP. So there again you have SNMP version 1 architecture. एक झलक देखने से सारे architecture same लगते हैं. OSI, SNMP version 1, version 2. Okay, version 3 altogether it was a different architecture, and all these architecture, ये चारों architecture में से एक architecture तो आएगा ही. Okay, so there are some small changes in every architecture and which the students usually miss. So if the architecture only goes wrong, the diagram goes wrong, whatever is written, 10-12 पेज भी अगर तुम लोगों ने लिखा होगा, मतलब गलत ही लिखा होगा ना, because the architecture itself you have drawn wrong. In one architecture अगर दोनों side में arrow है, I hope you are listening to what I am saying. I am not projecting any slide, but I am just discussing like how we discuss in the class, okay, before starting of anything. Okay, कोई architecture में दो side arrow है, तुम लोगों को लगेगा क्या है, ठीक है. Next architecture, you will have one-sided arrow, bi-directional arrow, unidirectional arrow. There might be no arrows when you are doing the connections. Okay, so that's why you need to draw. Now, why I am telling you all this thing is I am expecting that you at your end is scribbling down some part of the architecture, because जो चीज मैं अभी करने बोलूंगी ना वो architecture explain करते वक्त might be it is not there in the PPT or not there in the notes also, but during the course of lecture I'm telling you okay ये ऐसा होना चाहिए, don't miss out this point. Okay, this should be a dark line, this should be a dashed line. Okay, because that carries a significance in the explanation. So please draw the architecture. It's only one diagram for today, so you need to draw it. And I said ki aaj ka hi topic, today's lecture 10 marks question will be there. Okay, so we had seen this yesterday when I was concluding the lecture, the OSI communication management model. So we have the managing system, we have the managed system. So in the managing system, we have the manager. And in the managed system, we have the agent who is handling these objects. And the protocol that I'm using is the Common Management Information Protocol. So it is the communication protocol that is used between a managing system and a managed system. So if you are told to give the definition of CMIP, so what is CMIP? The full form, yes, it is the Common Management Information Protocol, or common is not communication. It is the communication protocol between the managing system. Okay, but yahan C is not communication. It is Common Management Information Protocol. So full form भी अगर एग्जाम में पूछते हैं, ऑब्जेक्टिव में, एमसीक्यू में, there also again there are chances that you go wrong. Okay, so definition is the communication protocol between the managing system and the managed system, and the full form is Common Management Information Protocol, which is used in OSI model. Okay, because OSI management, for internet management, we have the SNMP protocol. So these two things you need to remember. Okay, so we have studied what is an OSI managed object. I hope you remember this because we had studied an object from internet perspective and we have studied an object from OSI perspective. So we had taken the example of a circle. So a circle has is my managed object, that it has some behavior. There are some attributes of the circle. Okay, some dimensions are there, and there is an object boundary. Why there is a boundary? Because not all things might be visible to the outside world. Okay, so there is an object boundary. Some operations, remember that push operation was performed and on the object, and it gave a response. And then we need to send a notification telling that the behavior of the object changed. Okay, so this is again just an introduction to the OSI managed object, because finally what we are doing, we are handling the objects, which are nothing but our network element. Okay, so in OSI, the managed object is object oriented. This we need to remember. Okay, as OSI is object oriented, the resources are represented as managed object class, this one. The internal characteristic of a managed object are hidden from the external view. Okay, and that are specified as attributes. Okay, so why these attributes are there? Okay, so not all the characteristic might be viewed from by an external. Okay, so there are certain attributes at the object boundary. The inner behavior of the managed object caused by external operation is reflected as change in attribute and is sent out as notification. Remember when we said that suppose a push operation is performed on a circle, the circle turned into ellipse. Now I should tell the outside boundary, outside world, that the behavior of the object has changed. So the one keywords which are highlighted are the 5 attributes of the OSI managed object. So that's why I have highlighted those slides. Now I expect you to draw this, the OSI management system architecture. It might be little faint, but I did not get a clear diagram. I had to edit also this part now. So this is the OSI management system architecture. Please don't get confused with the dumbbell architecture. So on this side, I have the OSI manager. On the other side, I have the OSI management agent. And I am communicating between the manager and the agent. So if I see the OSI layers, at the top, I have the application layer. Okay, so this application entity is housed in the application layer. So यहाँ पे manager first let me just explain initially and then you can draw. So the OSI manager application is housed in the application layer, or you can say the application entity. Similarly, the OSI agent application is housed in the application entity of the agent layer. Then you have all these presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, DLC, physical layer, and so on. So ये जो तुम्हारे नीचे का है, that is all your 7 layers of OSI model. We are not going into all this because you have already studied in CCN कि ठीक है एप्लीकेशन लेयर में, प्रेजेंटेशन लेयर में सिग्नल जाता है, क्या होगा, प्रेजेंटेशन से सेशन में जाएगा तो क्या होता है. So we are not at all dealing with this part. We are dealing with the application layer of the manager side and the agent side. Now here, since it is a manager, remember manager has to maintain a database. Okay, in the organization model, which we have seen, no, 2-tier, 3-tier. So a database is managed by the manager. So wherever you draw the OSI manager, usually in the diagram, if you see left hand side, we draw the OSI manager, and on the right hand side, we draw the agent. Don't change करोगे तो क्या होगा पता नहीं, but in every book it is given in this way. So we are comfortable drawing the manager on this side and the agent on this particular side. But remember, even if you change the order, okay, wherever you have drawn the manager, the management database, because the agent does not maintain a database. Okay, the manager maintains a database. So the management database is drawn over here. So here in this application layer, I have the OSI manager application. Now this OSI manager will send some request to the agent. The agent will give a response. Okay, so हमें ये सभी चीज करना है. What is the manager doing? He wants some data. He's sending some request to the agent. And what the agent is doing, he will process the data that he has collected from the object, and he will give, whenever the manager wants the data, he will give that data to the manager. So when this exchange is going on, some kind of messages are going on. Okay, it is not the data that is getting transferred from the sender to the receiver. Okay, so it is the communication between a manager and an agent. And what the agent does is, it is not just he's sending a response to the manager. If he feels that there is some unwanted situation, he raises an alarm. Okay, so he sends an unsolicited message to the manager. Okay, so then there are certain sets of messages. Now here, if you see the number, it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 messages. Now many times students feel कि OSI 7 layer का है, उसके लिए हर एक layer का एक message. No. Okay, it is not like that. It is, see, it is all present in the application layer. Okay, it has nothing to do with the remaining 6 layers which are there. Remaining 6 layers we have kept as it is. Only here some recommendations are there which you need to write. But suppose exam mein agar ye chhoot gaya, it is not so difficult, but because this side and this side, it remains the same. Whatever is over here, here also right now for OSI, it is same. So you need to know only this one side, and but exam में ये draw करना है. ऐसा blank छोड़ना नहीं है. Blank वो examiner fill up नहीं करेगा. Okay. So you need to draw exactly the same. At least you draw this part. Here you can, in your notebook, you can say that it is the same thing. Okay, so whenever the manager is communicating between the agent, that communication takes place through 7 messages. Now, what are those 7 messages? Here you can see the name mget. Now, if it is a capital letter, you will write with a capital letter, because remember that is what was the syntax that is used. Because using all this only, we are doing the ASN1 coding. So this is the keyword. So mget, mset, maction. We will study each commands in deep. Okay, so what are those 7 commands? Again, repeating, 7 has nothing to do with the count of 7 layers of OSI. वैसा नहीं है. There are 7 services which the OSI management provides, and those 7 commands are part of those 7 services. CMISE, Common Management Information Service Element. तो वो 7 services हैं. Okay, so these are the names of the services. Capital M stands for, or it tells you कि ये management related command है. नहीं तो get, that keyword might be used by anybody else. But when I say mget, M stands for management. Okay, so that's why that M word is required. Whenever I'm discussing about OSI. For SNMP, might be it will be something else. Okay, so that's why I'm telling you to draw it, because for OSI, if you are not writing capital M everywhere, you will not get any marks, whatever be your explanation. So for OSI management, or whenever you are drawing the OSI architecture, the command has to be mget, mset, then maction, then you have event report, mcreate, mdelete, mcancel, get. So these are the 7 commands. Now, if you can see this diagram, यहाँ पे blue line से draw किया हुआ है. These, and it is a bi-directional arrow. I will explain why bi-directional arrow. And here something is drawn with red color. M event report. यहाँ पे भी M event report is drawn with a red color. Now, how will you draw at your end? You are not going to use different colors, pencils or pen. What you will do is, whenever you are drawing this blue line, you will draw dark lines. मतलब complete lines. I'll tell you how. जब तुम लोग ये draw करोगे, for these blue lines, you will draw solid lines. Okay, here. And whenever you are drawing this red over here, I'm talking about the OSI manager. Please listen to what I am telling. Okay, so whenever you are drawing for OSI manager, this blue line is your solid line and this red line will be your dashed line. So this is how you will draw in your book. Those who are sincere, I expect that they are definitely drawing. Those who are not sincere, you can try to be sincere to yourself. Okay. And when you are drawing the OSI management agent, all the blue lines will be dash. Please remember it. All the blue lines will be dash. And only this line, the red one, will be a solid line. If you are not drawing this in the exam, or सबको कर दिया है, solid line with bidirectional, okay, bidirectional, you are safe for OSI management architecture. Okay, so no problem. But you need to draw here in management application all 6 solid line with M event report as a dash line. Here the remaining 6 as a dash line, only M event report as solid line. Now why we are giving so much importance to dark line and solid lines and dashed line? Why we are doing all this thing is the OSI manager generates the 6 command. Okay, so means this M event report is not generated by the manager. OSI manager is not generating the M event report. So that's why it is drawn by a dashed line. Whereas if I see the agent is not generating the remaining 6 command. It is only generating the M event report. So whoever is generating that command, there we are drawing by solid line. I hope this thing is clear. Manager is generating or sending all the 6 commands. So that's why we are drawing by a solid line. Manager is not generating the M event report. That's why I'm drawing by a dashed line. Here also, the agent is only generating, I'm stressing on the word only. The agent is only generating the M event report. That's why it is a solid line. The agent is not generating the remaining command. So all the remaining 6, it has to be solid line. So please draw it in that way whenever you are drawing. Okay, now why we have put bi-directional over here? तुम लोग सोचो कि यार इसको ड्रॉ ही नहीं करते ना, अगर ये जनरेट ही नहीं कर रहा है, इसको ड्रॉ नहीं करते तो बच जाता हमारा डैश और सॉलिड लाइन ये सब का झंझट. But whenever the M event report is generated by the agent, the manager has to receive it. Okay, he has to receive it, and once he receives it, he has to give an acknowledgement. Same way, when I send an mget, arrow यहाँ unidirectional होना चाहिए था. Okay, so mget, when he is sending to the agent has to give an acknowledgement. So that acknowledgement has to be received by the manager. So to receive that acknowledgement, we have this bidirectional symbol. Because why I am highlighting, SNMP में ऐसा नहीं है. It might be unidirectional, it might be bidirectional. For every message that I send, need not there be an acknowledgement. जरूरी नहीं है कि acknowledgement होना चाहिए. But here, when everything is bidirectional, means which every message that I send from the manager to the agent or agent to the manager, there is an acknowledgement, and then only the actual transfer of message takes place. So that's why we have this bidirectional. Okay, so here no explanation of the presentation session and the transport layer. It is all the 7 commands which are there in the application layer. You can draw it. Okay, so is anybody drawing it?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see this diagram, or I shall project the earlier one?
And we can see.
Okay, because some explanations are there side by side, so that's why I want to show you. So though, because many people might not be interested, they are very smart people, no? So they might not be interested to draw, but some might be interested in drawing. So side by side, this explanation is there. So what is the OSI management system architecture is? It consists of 7 messages representing the 7 services, which is called as the Common Management Information Service Element, CMISE. Yes, Raul? You raised your hand?
Sorry, I was just changing my name.
Okay.
Number.
So what is the full form? Common Management Information Service Element. So these are the 7 messages, okay, and they are called as the Common Management Information Service Elements. And the communication protocol that is used by these 7 messages is the Common Management Information Protocol. I hope with this, the actual definition of CMISE and CMIP is clear. Okay, so the OSI architecture is having a manager and an agent. Okay, so there are 7 services which are exchanged between the manager and the agent. Those 7 services are called by the name Common Management Information Service Elements, and the communication protocol, please remember, it's a communication protocol which is used by CMISE, is called as the CMIP, that is the Common Management Information Protocol. Now, here, all but one M event report are generated by the manager and are represented by solid lines in the OSI manager application. So right now it is a blue diagram, but it is a solid line when you are drawing. The M event report is shown as a solid line in the agent layer and as a dashed line in the manager layer. Okay, so this is a solid line over here and a dashed line over here. All the messages are represented by a double arrow in both the manager and the agent layer because the message may elicit it or require either response or confirmation. So whenever I'm saying I want to get the value, suppose I want to get the value of the counter, I want to get the value of the switch, I want to get the value or the status of some device. Okay, so I require a confirmation. Okay, I got that message, and then only the agent will give me the response. Okay, so that's why the double arrow in both manager and agent is required. Messages are generated by the application process. So in the application layer, we have the various applications running. See, a particular manager is having so many applications. Similarly, an agent may have so many applications running. ऐसा नहीं कि एक ही कुछ application deal कर रहे हैं. Okay, so there are various application processes which are present in the application layer of the manager. Similarly, the application layer of the agent, and the messages are generated by the application process and are transferred to the presentation layer via an application entity sublayer in the application layer. So that's why this whole is the application layer. Huh? But kahin humne as a application layer aisa kuch likha nahi hai. So these messages are transferred to the presentation layer via this application entity which is present in the application layer. The other upper layers of OSI reference model, so that is, it consists of the presentation layer, session layer, and this are described in the ITU recommendation X.216 and X.226 and X.215 and X.225. So these are the various ITU recommendation for the presentation and the session layer. The lower layers, when I'm talking of the transport, network, data link, and physical, here it says that it can be either connection oriented or connectionless. And for the physical medium, it is not specified मुझे data कैसे भेजना है. So numerous choices are there, okay, in the set of the lower layer protocols. So whichever is there, so no restriction or no limitation is there, whichever is comfortable in your network, okay, whichever way you want, that is allowed for the data transfer. Now here I was using the word ITU recommendation yahan pe. Okay, 216, X.226, X.215, X.225, yes sir. Now being a telecommunication engineer, you should know some of the recommendations, or if you find across some recommendation, at least you should have the curiosity, because see, we are not dealing with an altogether new system, or ऐसा नहीं ठीक है मैं अपने system पे ही काम करूंगा. Whatever system we are using, already those things are fixed, recommended, and followed universally. So I just have one or two slides. It is not there in money. So what is X.216 and X.226, X.215, 225? I just have slides. What is ITU recommendation X.216? So it is the recommendation, or you can say the international standard, which specifies the services which are provided by the presentation layer to the application layer at the boundary between the application layer and the presentation layer of the OSI model. Okay, so it is the standard that specifies the services provided by the presentation layer to the application layer. So what are those services? The primitive action and events of the services, the parameters associated with each primitive action and event, and the relationship between the valid sequence of these actions and events. So this is your ITU X.216 recommendation. Then what is ITU recommendation X.215? So this recommendation, or we call it as the international standard, it specifies a protocol which is used to provide the connection mode session services specified in this recommendation. So it is happening in the session layer. So it specifies a protocol which is used to provide connection mode session services. So now let us see what are those 7 services. So those 7 services are called as common management information service elements. So we will be seeing all these things. So sometimes instead of OSI management architecture, they might just ask you or a short note on CMISC. Okay, if it's a 10 marks, please, I would recommend that you draw the management architecture and show kahan pe wo 7 services hai. Okay, and then you explain this 7 services. So the first service is mget. Okay, so what is mget doing is this service comprises request and response message. Okay, so the manager requests some data from the agent and the agent sends a response. And the mget requires confirmation from the agent. So that's why the arrow was bidirectional. So mget, mujhe kuch, I am the manager. I want to know the value. Okay, so I have to send a request, or I'm getting the value of whatever the data I want. So that's why mget. Then mset. Okay, so this I'm setting something, I'm changing something. Please remember this. So this service enables setting up attribute values in the managed object, and it may or may not require confirmation, but still we put a double arrow. Okay, because we don't know what application we are talking about. So उसमें confirmation चाहिए भी रहता है, नहीं भी चाहिए रहता. Okay, so that's why we put a double arrow. May not के लिए double arrow की actually जरूरत नहीं है. Confirmation नहीं चाहिए मुझे agent का. I am so much authorized to directly change the attributes of the managed object. Okay, so that is your mset, but since it is may or may not, we put a double arrow. So this service enables setting up attribute value in the managed object. Then M action. This service is used to perform operations in the managed object, and confirmation is optional. Here also, the confirmation is optional because see, the manager has more power compared to the agent. But since it is optional, but some might require a confirmation. So that's why again that double arrow is required. So whenever you are explaining this, this is exactly the words which are there in money. Please don't use internet. Internet से तुम अगर ये करने जाओगे ना, the one which you do in exam, okay, directly type करो और वहां से लिख दो, you will end up writing something else. M create and M delete. These services are used to create and delete object class for which there is no equivalent in SNMP. This sentence is important. Why? See, when we were studying OSI managed object and SNMP managed object, there were certain functions which was absent in SNMP. Remember, I had shown you a table. In SNMP, I cannot create or delete an object. Internet पे मैं कुछ features change नहीं कर सकती हूँ. I am just supposed to use the internet. But if I am using OSI management, I can create or I can delete the object class. So that's why this M create and M delete, this service is present only in OSI and there is no equivalent in SNMP. ये जो बाकी सारे सर्विसेज हम देख रहे हैं कोई और नाम से SNMP में प्रेजेंट होगा. Okay, not exactly the same name, but this M create and M delete, it won't be there in SNMP. And both these OSI message requires confirmation from the agent. Then we have M cancel get. And M get request message may be cancelled. Suppose when I had sent that message earlier, I am the manager. An M get message, I want to get some value, but I don't want that value right now. So I can cancel that message by using the M cancel get message, and which again requires confirmation from the agent. Then comes M event report. Okay, it has nothing to do with report writing. Okay, but look at the other. See, report has many meaning. When I say I am report, we feel कि हाँ मुझे report करना है. But when I'm reporting some event, what is happening? Those reporters are there. No, some incidents happen, and they are reporting it on the news channel. So they are telling, no, something has happened. Something has happened. So we are talking of that report. Okay, so अब तक हमने देखा हर कुछ मैनेजर मांग रहा है and the agent is just sending the data. But if some alarm he has to raise, so he has to report something. So then this M event report, it is the only one message which is generated by the agent, and it is called as unsolicited message. Unsolicited, this word I'm using because nobody has asked me, I on my own is sending that. And this service is akin to trap message. Okay, akin means similar to trap message. यहाँ पे कैसा था? There is no equivalent. ये same message is present in SNMP, but at that time I'm not using this same M event report. I will use the word trap. Okay, so trap is the word that we are using in SNMP, but it has a much broader effect than the few general alarms in SNMP. So in SNMP, there are few general alarm, but when we talk of OSI and event report, it is not just some alarm कि अच्छा counter का size overflow हो रहा है. Okay, then I am generating an alarm. No, it has much higher roles. We are not going deeper into it. Okay, so this completes your 7 services. So the communication, what is there in the communication model? Now here, remember, before I start with the communication model, if you remember, we had studied communication model, organization model, functional model, and information model earlier also. Here also this communication model comes. Now this is altogether a different concept which is present in the appendix of money. ओके तो अब तुम लोग सोचोगे कम्युनिकेशन मॉडल पूछा तो कौन सा वाला लिखेंगे, अपेंडिक्स वाला लिखेंगे या जो नॉर्मल चैप्टर में आगे दिया हुआ है, बिकॉज आई हैड अगेन शोड यू द कम्युनिकेशन मॉडल. ओके, वेरी सिंपल. टू सर्कल वाज द एजेंट एंड मैनेजर and request response notification. Okay, and that we were explaining. So if communication model is explained or asked from the management perspective, then you will write this one, because there you are explaining those 7 messages. I hope this is clear. The manager and agent application processes uses 7 messages to communicate with each other. The application processes interfaces with the application entity sublayer that is above the presentation layer. Okay, and again, the same thing, the communication protocol used for inter-system communication is your CMIP. So the communication model, it deals with the application layer entity and the inter-system message protocol. Now, what is this communication model? So the sentences which are over here, okay, the communication model, it deals with the application layer entity and the inter-system message protocol. So what is that inter-system message protocol? That you need to know. So this is your architecture of OSI communication model. A very important topic, because if not directly OSI communication model, if you see the past question papers of TNM or NMT, many full forms यहाँ पे आएंगे, because see all these are some names which are given. Every name has a full form, and suddenly 2-3 years consecutively इन्होंने explain rows, explain ACSC, explain this. Okay, 4-5 things they had asked for 10 marks. मतलब हर एक का 2-2 marks का. It was like a short note, and all these things are not still present in money. So randomly, but net पे available है. Yes, net पे it is available. So I expect that you draw this diagram. It's very simple diagram. Once you draw it, I will tell you the full form. देखो यहाँ पे presentation layer है, means this is all present in the application layer. अभी हमने क्या देखा था? Just I'll go back. This one. So we just understood there are 7 services. Now I need to understand the protocol which is present in the application entity in the application layer. So to understand this protocol, because why is that protocol used? That protocol is used for communication. Okay, so to explain the communication model, I need to know the exact function in which the protocol is present. If you see CMIP, the Common Management Information Protocol is present over here, then why all these things are there? Okay, so everything has a meaning. Okay, so that's why you please write down SMAP. कहीं पे application layer नहीं है, so please don't write it. It is considered as an application. So before the data goes to the presentation layer, what happens over here? So you have SMAP, please draw it, then SMASE, SMAE, CMISE. So CMISE, those 7 services we have studied. So you know what is those 7 services. So that is just in the form of a block, CMISE. Then you have CMIP PDUs, ACSC, rows, MA, PDU, CMIP, PDU. Once you just quickly draw it, I'll tell the full form. And then we will end today and I'll start tomorrow. I will be finishing with the second chapter. I will continue with this explanation and one more architecture is there. And then your second module is over. Okay, so SMAP, those who are drawing, you can draw from here. SMAP, this full form is very important. Please don't feel कि नेट पे सर्च करेंगे तो आ जाएगा full form. You will not get it. Okay, so SMAP is Systems Management Application Process, and to ask in the objective MCQ, यहीं से हमें 2-3 questions मिल जाएंगे. Okay, what is the full form and all those weird combinations will be there, which will just confuse you. SMAP is System Management Application Process. SMAE, which is present over here, SMAE is your System Management Application Entity. SMASE is the System Management Application Service Element. CMISE, you already know, Common Management Information Service Entity or elements. CMIP is Common Management Information Protocol. ROSE, Remote Operation Service Element. ACSE, Association Control Service Element. Please write down the full form. I will be ending the lecture with this only.